The galactic empire sprawled across the stars like a leviathan, its vast fleets and sprawling colonies a testament to its unyielding ambition. For centuries, it had ruled with an iron fist, its military might unmatched, its influence unchallenged. Yet, even the mightiest empires face threats they cannot easily crush. In the far reaches of the galaxy, beyond the well-charted lanes of commerce and conquest, lay the Void Maw, a region of space so treacherous, so utterly alien, that even the Empire's most seasoned admirals spoke of it in hushed tones. It was a place where stars flickered and died without warning, where gravity twisted ships into scrap, and where something ancient and malevolent seemed to watch from the shadows. The Void Maw had claimed countless lives, and now, it threatened to spill its chaos into the Empire's heartlands. The High Command convened in the Grand War Room of the Imperial Citadel, a towering spire that pierced the clouds of the capital world, Elysium Prime. Around the obsidian table sat the Empire's most powerful figures. Grim-faced generals, cunning politicians, and the cold-eyed Emperor himself, a man whose very presence seemed to bend the room to his will. The air was thick with tension as holographic displays flickered, showing the latest reports from the Void Maw's borders. A fleet had vanished there just days ago, an entire battle group, gone without a trace. The Empire could not afford such losses, not with rebellion simmering in the outer colonies and rival factions testing its borders. "We need a solution," the Emperor said, his voice a low growl that brooked no argument. "The Void Maw cannot remain unchecked, but sending more fleets blindly into that abyss is suicide. We need someone exceptional." The room fell silent. Exceptional was an understatement. The Void Maw was not just a battlefield. It was a graveyard. The mission would require not just skill and courage, but a willingness to face the unknown, to stare into the abyss and not flinch. It was a job for a commander who could inspire loyalty in the face of certain death, who could outthink an enemy that defied comprehension. It was, in short, a job no sane person would take. And yet, within hours, the Empire's offer was answered. General Alara Voss stood in the dim light of her quarters aboard the Iron Resolve, her flagship. She was a woman of striking presence, her sharp features framed by dark hair streaked with silver, her eyes a piercing green that seemed to see through lies and pretense. At 42, she had already lived a lifetime of war, her name whispered with reverence and fear in equal measure. She had crushed rebellions, outmaneuvered rival factions, and once, against all odds, held a star system against a force 3 times her size. But her victories had come at a cost. She had lost friends, comrades, and a part of herself she could never reclaim. When the message from High Command arrived, she read it twice, her expression unreadable. The Void Maw, the deadliest job in the galaxy. A mission that would almost certainly end in death. She should have felt fear, hesitation, anything. Instead, she felt clarity. This was what she had been training for, what she had been waiting for. A chance to prove herself not to the Empire but to herself. A chance to face the darkness and strike back. She sent her reply without hesitation. The news of her acceptance spread like wildfire. In the halls of the Citadel, in the barracks of distant outposts, in the smoky cantinas of frontier worlds, people spoke of Alara Voss with a mix of awe and disbelief. She was a legend, but legends were not supposed to volunteer for suicide missions. Some called her a hero, others a fool. But no one could deny her courage. High Command was less enthusiastic. "She's reckless," one admiral muttered during the briefing. "Brilliant, yes, but reckless. This mission requires precision, not bravado." "Precision won't save us in the Void Maw," another countered. "We need someone who can think outside the box, who can adapt to the impossible. Voss is our best chance." The Emperor listened to the debate in silence, his gaze fixed on the holographic image of the Void Maw. Finally, he raised a hand, and the room fell silent. "General Voss has accepted the mission. We will not question her decision. Prepare the Eclipse and assemble her crew. Time is not on our side." The Eclipse was a marvel of Imperial engineering, a warship unlike any other. Sleek and deadly, it was equipped with experimental technology designed to withstand the Void Maw's horrors. This crew, however, was another matter. Alara had insisted on choosing her own team, and her choices raised more than a few eyebrows. There was Jackson Rook, a disgraced engineer with a knack for fixing the unfixable. Cale Draven, a former mercenary with a reputation for brutality. Lyra Solon, a xenobiologist whose theories about the Void Maw bordered on heresy. And a handful of others, each with their own quirks and flaws. They were not the Empire's finest, but they were exactly what Alara wanted. Survivors. As the Eclipse prepared for departure, Alara stood on the observation deck, staring out at the stars. She felt a strange calm, a sense of purpose she had not felt in years. The Void Maw was a mystery, a challenge, a threat, but it was also an opportunity to prove herself, to make a difference, to face the darkness and emerge victorious, or to die trying. The ship's engines hummed to life, and the Eclipse slipped into the void, heading for the unknown. Behind her, the Empire watched, its fate hanging in the balance. Ahead lay the Void Maw, and whatever horrors it contained. Alara Voss did not look back. She had made her choice. Now she would see it through. The story was just beginning. The Eclipse slid through the inky blackness of space, its sleek hull glinting faintly under the light of distant stars. Inside, the crew moved with a tense efficiency, each member acutely aware of the gravity of their mission. General Alara Voss stood on the bridge, her gaze fixed on the viewscreen as the ship approached the edge of the Void Maw. The region loomed ahead like a gaping maw, its borders marked by a faint, unnatural shimmer that seemed to distort the very fabric of reality. It was as if space itself recoiled from the Void Maw, warning all who approached to turn back. Alara's voice cut through the silence, calm but commanding. All systems check. Report. Jackson Rook, the disgraced engineer, was the first to respond, his fingers dancing across a console. Engines at full capacity, shields holding steady. But I'm picking up some strange readings from the sensors, fluctuations in gravity, distortions in electromagnetic fields. This place, it's not normal. Normal is relative, Alara replied, her tone dry. Keep an eye on those readings. Let me know if anything changes. Cale Draven, the former mercenary, leaned against a bulkhead, his arms crossed. His scarred face was unreadable, but his eyes betrayed a flicker of unease. You sure about this, General? Once we cross that threshold, there's no turning back. Alara turned to face him, her green eyes piercing. We've already crossed it, Draven. The moment we accepted this mission, we committed. Doubt won't help us now. Lyra Solon, the xenobiologist, stepped forward, her expression a mix of excitement and apprehension. The Void Maw is unlike anything we've ever encountered. If my theories are correct, it's not just a region of space, it's a living entity or at least a manifestation of one. We need to be prepared for anything. Alara nodded. That's why you're here, Solon. Keep analyzing the data. If there's a pattern to this chaos, I want to know about it. The ship crossed the threshold into the Void Maw, and the change was immediate. The view screen flickered, the stars twisting and warping as if seen through a fractured lens. The crew felt it too. A strange pressure, a sense of being watched. The air grew heavy, and even the hum of the engines seemed muted, as if the Void Maw was swallowing sound itself. Gravity spike, Rook shouted, his voice tinged with panic. Brace for impact. The Eclipse shuddered violently as an unseen force gripped the ship, pulling it off course. Alarms blared, and the crew scrambled to stabilize the vessel. Alara gripped the edge of the console, her knuckles white. Rook, rear out power to the engines. Draven, get to the weapons station. If something's out there, I want to be ready. The ship lurched again, and the view screen flickered back to life, revealing a sight that sent a chill through the crew. Ahead of them loomed a massive structure, its surface a swirling mass of black and silver, like liquid metal frozen in mid-motion. It pulsed faintly, as if alive, and tendrils of energy extended from it, reaching out toward the Eclipse. What the hell is that? Draven muttered, his hand hovering over the weapon's controls. I don't know, Alara said, her voice steady, but we're not turning back. Solon, Any ideas? Lyra Solon was already analyzing the data, her eyes wide with fascination. It's incredible. The energy signatures match nothing in our databases. This could be the key to understanding the Void Maw. But it's also incredibly dangerous. Those tendrils, they're not just energy. They're some kind of probe trying to interface with our systems. As if on cue, the ship's systems began to glitch. Lights flickered, consoles sparked, and the crew felt a strange, invasive presence in their minds. A whisper, faint but insistent, probing their thoughts. "Shut it down," Alara ordered. "Rook, isolate the systems. Draven, target those tendrils. Fire at will." The Eclipse's weapons roared to life, energy beams slicing through the darkness and severing the tendrils. The structure recoiled, its surface rippling like water disturbed by a stone. But the relief was short-lived. From the depths of the Void Maw, a swarm of alien ships emerged, their sleek, organic shapes moving with unnatural speed and precision. "Hostiles incoming," Draven barked, his hands flying over the controls. "They're fast. Too fast." Alara's mind raced as she assessed the situation. The alien ships were unlike anything she had ever faced, small, agile, and seemingly immune to conventional tactics. "Rook, divert power to the shields. Solon, find me a weakness." The Eclipse rocked under the onslaught, its shields flaring as they absorbed hit after hit. The crew worked frantically, their movements sharp and precise, but the alien ships were relentless. One by one, the ship's systems began to fail, and the whispers in their minds grew louder, more insistent. "We can't hold them off forever," Draven shouted, his voice strained. "We need a plan, General." Alara's eyes narrowed as she studied the alien ships. There was a pattern to their movements, a rhythm that she could almost grasp. "Solon, those energy signatures, are they connected to the structure?" Lyra Solon nodded, her fingers flying across the console. "Yes, the ships are drawing power from it. If we can disrupt the structure, we might be able to disable them." Alara's lips curved into a grim smile. "Then that's our target. Rook, prepare the experimental pulse cannon. Draven, cover us. Solon, guide the shot." The crew moved with renewed purpose, their fear tempered by determination. The Eclipse banked sharply, evading a barrage of fire as it lined up its shot. The pulse cannon charged, its energy building to a crescendo. Alara's voice cut through the chaos, calm and unwavering. "Fire!" The cannon unleashed a blinding beam of energy, striking the structure dead center. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the structure began to collapse in on itself, its surface rippling and distorting as the energy within it destabilized. The alien ships faltered, their movements becoming erratic as their power source failed. But the victory was short-lived. The structure's collapse triggered a massive shockwave, rippling through the Void Maw and engulfing the Eclipse. The ship was thrown violently off course, its systems failing as the crew was tossed like ragdolls. Alara gripped the console, her vision swimming as the view screen flickered and died. When the chaos subsided, the Eclipse drifted in silence, its lights dim and its engines dead. The crew groaned as they picked themselves up, their bodies bruised but intact. Alara's voice broke the silence, sharp and urgent. "Status report." Rook was the first to respond, his voice shaky. "Engines are down. Shields are at 10%. Life support is stable, but we're dead in the water." Draven cursed under his breath. "Those bastards really did a number on us." "What now, General?" Alara's mind raced as she assessed their situation. They were stranded in the heart of the Void Maw, their ship crippled and their mission hanging by a thread. But they were alive, and that was something. "We regroup. Rook, get the engines back online. Draven, secure the ship. Solon, keep analyzing the data. We're not done yet." As the crew set to work, Alara stared out at the darkness beyond the view screen. The Void Maw was still out there, its secrets waiting to be uncovered. They had faced the unknown and survived, for now. But the real challenge was yet to come, and Alara Voss was ready to meet it. The Eclipse hung adrift in the suffocating silence of the void maw, its once proud hull now scarred and lifeless. The crew moved with a grim determination, their faces etched with exhaustion but their resolve unbroken. General Alara Voss stood at the center of the bridge, her sharp eyes scanning the flickering consoles and the dim, fractured viewscreen. The alien structure they had destroyed still lingered in her mind, its collapse a Pyrrhic victory that had left them stranded in the heart of the abyss. But Alara was not one to dwell on setbacks. She had faced worse odds before, and she would do so again. "Rook," she called, her voice cutting through the tense silence. "How long until we have engines?" The engineer wiped sweat from his brow, his hands trembling slightly as he worked. "I'm rerouting power now, but it's going to take time. The damage is extensive. If we push too hard, we risk a total systems failure." Alara nodded, her expression unreadable. "Do what you can. We don't have the luxury of time." Kale Draven leaned against a console, his arms crossed and his jaw clenched. "Even if we get the engines online, where are we going? That shockwave knocked us off course. We're lost in this damn place." "We're not lost," Alara replied, her tone firm. "We're adapting." "Solon, any progress on the data?" Lyra Solon looked up from her console, her eyes alight with a mix of exhaustion and excitement. "I've been analyzing the energy signatures from the structure. There's a pattern, a kind of pulse like a heartbeat. If I'm right, it's leading us somewhere. Deeper into the void maw." Alara's lips curved into a faint smile. "Then that's where we'll go. Rook, prioritize life support and sensors. Draven, prepare for anything. We're not out of this yet." The crew worked in silence, the weight of their situation pressing down on them like a physical force. The void maw seemed to close in around the ship, its oppressive darkness a constant reminder of their vulnerability. But Alara's presence was a beacon of strength, her unwavering confidence a lifeline for the crew. They trusted her, even in the face of the unknown. Hours passed, the ship's systems slowly coming back online. The engines sputtered to life, their hum a welcome sound after the eerie silence. The view screen flickered, revealing the distorted stars of the void maw. Alara straightened, her gaze fixed on the screen. "Solon, plot a course following that pulse. Let's see where it takes us." The Eclipse moved cautiously through the darkness, its sensors straining to pierce the veil of the void maw. The pulse grew stronger, a rhythmic thrum that seemed to resonate through the ship itself. The crew felt it too, a faint vibration, a sense of being drawn toward something vast and ancient. "There," Solon said, pointing to the screen. A faint glow appeared in the distance, a swirling vortex of light and shadow. "That's the source of the pulse. But it's massive, bigger than anything we've seen." Alara's eyes narrowed as she studied the vortex. "Prepare for contact. Draven, arm all weapons. Rook, keep the engines ready for a quick escape if needed." As the ship approached the vortex, the crew felt a strange shift in the air, a sense of anticipation, of inevitability. The vortex pulsed with a hypnotic rhythm, its light casting eerie shadows across the bridge. And then, without warning, the Eclipse was pulled into the vortex, the ship shuddering violently as it was engulfed by the light. When the chaos subsided, the crew found themselves in a place unlike anything they had ever seen. The vortex had deposited them in a vast, cavernous space, its walls lined with glowing, organic structures that pulsed with the same rhythm as the vortex. At the center of the space was a massive, crystalline structure, its surface shimmering with an otherworldly light. "What is this place?" Rook whispered, his voice filled with awe. "The heart of the void maw," Solon replied, her voice trembling with excitement. "This is it, the source of everything. But it's not just a place, it's alive." Alara stepped forward, her eyes fixed on the crystalline structure. "Then we'll deal with it the same way we deal with any threat. Draven, prepare to fire on my mark." But before Draven could respond, the structure reacted. A beam of light shot out, enveloping the Eclipse in a blinding glow. The crew felt a sudden, overwhelming presence in their minds. A voice, ancient and powerful, speaking directly to them. "You have come far, little ones," the voice said, its tone both soothing and menacing. "But you do not understand what you face. This is not a place for the likes of you." Alara clenched her fists, her mind racing. "We're not here to conquer. We're here to survive. And if that means destroying you, so be it." The voice chuckled, a sound that sent shivers down the crew's spines. "Destroy me? You are brave but foolish. I am the Void Maw. I am the darkness between stars, the silence between heartbeats. You cannot destroy what you do not understand." Alara's eyes narrowed. "Then help us understand. Show us why we're here." For a moment there was silence. Then, the light shifted, revealing a series of images, visions of the galaxy's past, present, and future. The crew saw the rise and fall of civilizations, the birth and death of stars, the endless cycle of creation and destruction. And they saw themselves, standing at the center of it all, their actions rippling through time and space. "You see now," the voice said, "you are but a small part of a greater whole. Your struggles, your victories, your sacrifices, they mean nothing in the grand scheme of things. And yet, you persist. Why?" Alara's voice was steady, her resolve unshaken. "Because it's who we are. We fight, we endure, we survive. Not because it's easy, but because it's what we do. And if that means standing against you, then so be it." The voice was silent for a long moment. Then, the light began to fade, the crystalline structure dimming as the presence withdrew. "You are intriguing. Perhaps there is more to you than I thought. Very well. I will let you go. But know this, the Void Maw is not your enemy. It is a reflection of your own fears, your own doubts. Face them, and you may yet find your way." The light vanished, and the eclipse was released, the ship drifting free of the vortex. The crew sat in stunned silence, the weight of what they had experienced settling over them like a heavy blanket. Alara was the first to speak, her voice quiet but firm. "Set a course for home. We've seen enough." As the eclipse turned toward the edge of the Void Maw, the crew felt a strange sense of relief, mixed with a lingering unease. They had faced the unknown and survived, but the experience had changed them. They had seen the vastness of the universe, the insignificance of their struggles, and yet, they had also seen their own strength, their own resilience. Alara stood on the bridge, her gaze fixed on the stars ahead. The Void Maw was behind them, but its lessons would stay with her forever. She had faced the darkness and emerged stronger, and she knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, she would face them with the same determination. The eclipse slipped out of the Void Maw, its hull battered but intact. Behind them, the abyss faded into the distance, its secrets still hidden, its mysteries still unsolved. But for now, the crew was content to leave it behind. They had survived the deadliest job in the galaxy, and that was enough.